Hi everyone, welcome to Strike. We are going to look at the Dow Trend Scanner, which has two aspects. One is the classic Dow theory and trend analysis based on that. Now, the Dow theory had two aspects. One is looking at trend reversals based on divergences between two indices. So, if you actually saw one index continuing to perform and the other one not confirming that performance, it was seen as a sign of a possible trend reversal. But what we are looking for here is basic Dow theory of trend, which is how do you determine whether you're in an uptrend or in a downtrend, and that's what we're going to try and understand. So, what is Dow trend analysis? It's analysis of how prices are behaving. So, let's just presume that after a decline, prices start to rise. So, when they start rising from a particular low, we consider that advance as the first upward move in the trend, right? And this first upward move is results in the first higher high. Then prices dip, and we might get a point where we do not fall to a new low from compared to where we actually started. So that means that this was the bottom, and after that we are actually making a higher low. So what we actually have is a series of first higher high. Okay, so from the bottom we've reached, let's say, call it H1, and then we fall into a low which is L1. Subsequent to that, we start moving up again and surpass H1. So when we surpass H1, we are essentially making a higher high which is H2. Now, moment you reach point H2, what we are saying here is based on Dow theory, the trend is up simply because you have surpassed the previous high. So this is the series of higher highs and higher lows because L0, which is the starting point, is followed by a higher low at L1, and H1 is followed by a higher high at H2, and this starts off an upward trend. Now the same pattern could also be seen in a downward trend, which means that if prices are actually falling, that is, they are rising and then they start to fall. If prices are actually rising and then they start to fall, the point from where they start to fall, we would start by calling this point H0. Okay, so that is the highest point. We then fall to the first low, which is L1. Subsequent to that, we might find prices actually moving up to a level which is lower than H0. So we actually get the first lower high, we call that H1. And then from there, we continue down to a lower low. So moment we break the previous low, okay, which means moment we go below L1 and head towards a point which we may call as L2, we are making a series of lower highs and lower lows, and this is the definition of a downtrend. So the point at which we actually confirm that the trend has changed from up to down is where we surpass the previous high or low. So in an upward trend, moment you surpass this first high, it is a definition that the trend has changed from down to up, and H2 may continue for a while. That is fine. Similarly, if we are in a downtrend, moment we break this low, which is L1, we are considered to be in a downtrend and the trend may continue for a while. And this is classic Dow theory and Dow trend. The process of identifying such trend changes and then showing it in green and red. So when you're looking at this price chart, you're looking at green, which essentially indicates that this particular stock is in an uptrend based on this Dow theory, and then it turns red when the Dow theory is reversing the upward trend to a downward trend where you start making a lower low compared to the previous low. Again, if that trend reverses, it changes color from red to green and that upward trend continues. So the Dow theory can sometimes be one of the first indications of a trend reversal very, very fast. We don't really try and measure it as a trade, as to what is, whether you buy or sell at that particular point of time, which is why we call it a scanner. The idea is to scan out and find stocks that are changing trend based on Dow theory because it's fast in identifying them to further come up with the best trade setup that may help you actually take a decision. So you can add more observations and come up with the best probability setup out of all these stocks. Now the question is, how do you really drill down? So what we have done here is you can actually choose a basket. I may choose any basket that I want to run the Dow theory on. Say for example, I just choose the FNO basket, in which case all I'm looking at is all the FNO stocks, and I can choose live, which means it will be based on the latest closing price, whether the latest closing price is indicating any change in trend or a continuation of an existing trend. So when you look at all these up and downs, what do they really mean? When it says up, it means that the current stock is in an uptrend, which means it's already green. It's not really changing from red to green. It's already green and it's in continuation. Similarly, if it's going from down to up, it means that the trend is changing from down to up. So it is this is a trend reversal. And if you want to see this, and so it's across time frames, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, you can simply click on any one. So if you're looking at Aarti Industries and I say, okay, hourly is up, let's take a look at that. And it shows you the hourly, right? It's already been an uptrend, it's in continuation, it hasn't turned to red. That's what up means. But when we are saying down to up, it simply means that it is turning from red to green just now in this hour, right? And it will confirm at the end of the hour. That is why it's in live mode. Live mode means this is the trend reversal happening within this time frame and will confirm at the end of the time frame, at the end of the hour, on the daily chart at the end of the day, okay, which is at 3:30, on the weekly chart at the end of the week. It would confirm a trend reversal if it says down to up or up to down. But if it says down, it simply means that the current trend is already in force. Okay, now you may want to sometimes filter stocks out based on the previous day. You may be live market, but you want to know, yes, at yesterday's closing prices or at the last hour's closing prices, which were the confirmed signals, which are already confirmed. Those you can come to know by going for last candle close, which means on the last closing, what was the reading? Was it an uptrend or was it a downtrend or was there a reversal? So you can make a choice whether you want to see the live output on latest price or you want to see it on the last closing price, which is already confirmed, because of course the live output means it will confirm at the end of the time period. Now you've stuck to live mode and we want to know, okay, which are all the stocks that are giving a trend reversal from down to up. Say I'm bullish, I want to look for bullish stocks, so I want those which are turning down to up. So I simply click on this and it will list out only stocks that are changing from down to up. So these are the signals which are reversing trend, and within this I can further drill down which stocks I really want to look at. You can also do that drill down by further magnifying the filter, and you can do that by choosing what you want to combine it with. So already on the daily chart we have said stocks that are going from down to up. On the weekly chart I can say, okay, stocks that are already in an uptrend or already in a downtrend. I can choose something. So if I say stocks that are in an uptrend on the weekly chart, but those on the daily chart that are going from down to up. Now this is a good way, because on the higher time frame the trend is up and on the lower time frame the trend is likely to change. If you use this filtration, you have now brought yourself down to only 6 stocks, and you need to decide within these 6 stocks which ones have the best risk reward ratio and which ones have the right trade setup. You can do wave counts and really further drill down. So you have already drilled down to a narrow list, which is a big job given the FNO list is 190 stocks, and now you really need to just look at the individual charts and figure out which one is the best one to get into. Now once you've done any of these filtrations, you might even want to search for a particular stock. So if I say Exide, it can actually just show up that particular stock. So if you want to, when it's a large basket that you're dealing with and you want to see one particular stock's reading, you can search for it in this search bar. You can also use some of the classic tools which are there in TradingView here in terms of trend lines, retracement, etc. on the chart itself if you really want to. You can also share these charts with someone by using the share buttons on social media. You can download the chart if you want. It will simply go down to your download section of the browser and you can find it there. So you will download the image of whatever you have really worked on here. You might sometimes want to even export the data. So if you've actually come up with a list and you want to export it, you simply right click, go down to the export section, choose whether you want a CSV or an Excel file, click on it, and it will get downloaded to the download section of your Explorer within the Windows software. So that's how you do it. Lastly, if you're still confused, you simply click on this video and you can play the video that explains how the Dow theory signals are really working, right? You can watch it multiple times, get a hang of it, and start drilling down on the best stocks that you should be looking at.